Hi there, I want to show you how you can install SourceUI accordions into your project. And the easiest way to start is from the copy Webflow element button over here, where you can copy a working example. I'm going to do that to get the structure, but I will remove all the attributes so that we can add them one by one. So I'm going to paste my component over here. We'll delete one of them, and I have deleted all the attributes that it had. Now I want to set the content to block for now and remove the height 0, as SourceUI will do it for us anyway later on. Add a paragraph in here that will act as the content. And I want you to notice that we have an accordion inner div here that doesn't really do much for the functionality, but what it does is that it allows you to have some padding for the content, because if you try to give the content element any padding, let's say we want to do 20 on this. If I set this to 0, you'll see that it doesn't really work. And that's because the padding doesn't allow it to get to height 0. So whenever you want to add some padding to your content, it should be on a div inside of your content div and not directly on it. So let's go back to the documentation. I'm going to scroll down, and it tells us to add these two scripts. So I'm going to copy GSAP and add it to my page settings here. If you're going to use it on your whole project, obviously put it in your site settings. I'm going to go back there and copy the accordion, and let's paste this here. I'm going to save this. And now we need to go back to the documentation, scroll down, and we'll see that we have the attributes that we need to add. So group is the parent div that holds the accordions, root is the accordion element itself, a trigger is the trigger, and content. I'm going to copy this, go back here, and let's give this as accordion group. And then inside this is the S accordion root. This will be S accordion trigger. And this will be S accordion content. Let's see what else we got. So if I scroll down to the options, we have SEs to change the easing of the animation, duration, and multiple. I don't want any of these, but I do want the first one to be open by default. So I'm gonna add this attribute as well up here in the group. So let's give it S first open. And then we also have animating an icon. So S add class adds an active class to the element that it has. So I'm gonna copy this, go over here, go to my icon, and give this S add class. By default, the class that it will be given is called S active, but I like to use CC as it stands for combo class. So I want to change that. And we can do that with the S active class attribute on the group. So I'm gonna copy that, go back to the accordion group, and in the settings, add the S active class, CC active. So whenever this component opens, whenever this accordion opens, this active class will be added, and you can see that it animates using just CSS animations over here. So using the transition, it will animate. Now I'm just gonna set this to be hidden, make sure it's the correct component. So now that I set my content to hidden, and we duplicate this a few times, we can publish. Of course, you can also keep it visible, but you might see the content for like some milliseconds until the script loads, so I prefer to keep it hidden by default. And we can see that this opens by default, and if I click any of these, they will also open and close the other ones. If that's all you need, then you can stop watching, but if you want to see some advanced things you can do, then stick around to see the advanced section of the docs, where we have the events that are emitted by SourceUI. So this lets you know when an accordion opens or closes. So if I copy this, and we can just go to the console over here, I'm gonna paste this, and it seems like Whenever an accordion opens, we will get the details of that event. So I'm gonna put enter, and whenever I open the second one, you can see that it gives me the accordion that I just clicked. This can be helpful if you wanna grab the content of this, maybe change it or display it somewhere else, any kind of manipulation. And the other one could also be useful to you, especially if you're building something a bit more interactive and with more app-like behaviors. So we have these two methods for opening and closing. Seems like I need to change this in the documentation. But if we go here and write socks.accordions, and then we open a square bracket to select a specific one, you can see that Chrome already gives me the options because these are exported by socks. So it finds all your accordions and then adds them into a global object. And now I can select the third one and say open. And now it opens and it behaves just as if I clicked it, so it will close the other one as well. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know, and make sure to check out the other components.